Okay, now let's talk about the literal. So I'm going to create a new class, and there I'm going to show you the example of the literals. So Java class, and the class name is literals demo. Okay, so the first thing is that what is literal? So literal is a value. Okay, so literal is a value used to initialize the variable or to evaluate the expression. Okay, so I will explain this thing with the help of example. So like suppose consider that here if we have the public static void main method with the string args. Okay, and here if I declare the variable, let's say integer I is equal to 10, in this case this 10 is a literal. Okay, it is also known as constant. Both are same thing, literal or constants. Okay, so the meaning of constant is what? That the value cannot be changed. Okay, so this 10 cannot be changed, 10 remains 10 always. Okay, so let's try to see that what types of literals supported in the Java. Okay, so there are integer literals, character literals, boolean literals, and double literals. Okay, so here this is the example of the integer literals. Okay, let's take the example of the character literals. Character C is equal to A. Okay, this is the example of the character literal. Okay, so what does it mean by that character literal? That means that every value in Java has some type. Okay, so here this value has a type of character, that's why I'm saying it is a character literal. Okay, let's take the example of the boolean literal. So boolean b is equal to false. Okay, so this false is an example of the boolean literal. Okay, let's take the example of the double literal. So let me declare the double d is equal to 20.100. Okay, so here 20.100 is an example of the double literal. Okay, so I hope this is clear that what the literal is about. Okay, so now let's try to see that few more literals. Okay, so there are variations in the integer literal. Okay, so integer literal can be a different type. Okay, so let's see the example of the integer literals. Okay, so that the first example that we have seen is the decimal literal. Okay, the example which we have seen over here, this is the example of the decimal literal. Okay, so let me declare one more variable, integer x is equal to 20. This is the example of decimal literal. Okay, another example of the integer literal is the octal. Okay, so let's have integer o is equal to, if the value that starts with the 0, okay, followed by any number between 0 to 7 like this, okay, then this particular literal is known as the octal literal. Okay, so what is octal literal? The value would be having a number between 0 to 7, then it is said that it is a octal literal. Okay, the literal could be hexadecimal, so let me give the proper name. So decimal literal, this is the example of decimal literal. Here let me give the name, that is octal literal. Okay, this is the example of the octal literal. Here let's take the example of the hexaliteral, hexadecimal number. Okay, literal, and that starts with the string, that is, sorry, the number 0x followed by 1 2 3, like this. Okay, so this is the example of the hexadecimal literal. Hexadecimal literal. Okay, right. One more type of literal that we have in Java, it is a binary literal. Okay, so let me show you the example of binary literal. Like binary literal starts with the 0b followed by the string of 0 and 1. Okay, so like this 0 1 0 1 0 1 0 1. Okay, this is the example of binary literal. So I hope this is clear. So let's quickly revise that. In the octal literal, that the number starts with the 0 followed by any digit between 0 to 7. The hexadecimal literal starts with the 0x followed by 1 to 9, sorry, 0 to 9 digit. Okay, and A to F alphabets. Okay, binary literal starts with the 0b followed by 0 or 1 only, right? So these are the example of the integer literal. Okay, now let's go ahead. Let's see few more examples of this integer literal, that how to declare the integer literal. Okay, so suppose if you want to have a variable in the Java to store the amount. Okay, at that time what you can do, not only for this amount variable I'm talking in general about integer variable. So integer literal can have this kind of value also. Okay, like the digits separated by the underscore. Okay, so here this meaning of underscore is just to separate out this digits. Okay, so that it will improve the readability of the given number. So here it is, we can clarify that this is 1 lakh. Okay, so suppose sometimes if I remove this, right, this is also valid. Okay, both are the same thing, right, but this is not giving me the good readability. Okay, but if I will use this underscore, right, then it can give me good readability. Okay, so this one is correct, right? So this is same as 5 times 0. Okay, so yeah, one more thing over here is that you cannot use this underscore at the beginning. Okay, this is invalid, right? So don't use this underscore at the beginning of the literal. Okay, integer literal I'm talking about. Okay, let's see another example of the character literal. Okay, like here we have seen the one example of the character literal. Let's see few more example of the character literal. So character literals. Okay, right. So the character literal can be declared like this, that ch is equal to one example we have seen that it can be initialized with the help of that particular character. Okay, or else you can specify the Unicode like this /u 004e. Okay, so guys, Java supports the Unicode. Okay, Java supports Unicode. Okay, so here this particular character represent the capital N. Okay, then the character literal can be also specified like hex. Okay, so as we have seen in the hexadecimal, sorry, in the integer literal, you can specify in the character literal also like 0x123 kind of. Okay, the character literal can be initialized with the integer literal value, okay, or I should say the ASCII value, okay, ASCII value like this, okay. So suppose if I am using 65, okay, this is how the character literal can be used, okay. Suppose if you want to have a new line character, right, this is how you can declare the new line character with the /n, okay, right. Suppose if you want to add a quote, right, okay, so the code could be written like this, okay. That's it for this video.